Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to talk about what is next for the broader averages. And we're going to take a look at the S&P here first. Now, one of the things that I've been outlining to traders since Monday is this idea of the fact that this month's pitbull low is one that's probably going to be a little bit more dramatic because we're in the triple witching, right? The quarterly expiration that we see in the month of March, in the month of June, September, and then December. And remember that when we have the triple witching, our next Friday expiration, we're going to have possibly a little bit more volatility. So we end up with the pitbull low scenario. We go into the futures roll date this Friday, and then next Friday we have options expiration. Now, what we're typically looking for as a hallmark of the pitbull low is bearish momentum the last 30 to 60 minutes of the session before the bell. And if you take a look at today's intraday action, this is looking like the pitbull low is in. It doesn't mean that we may not have a slightly lower low, what's known as a minor low, going into tomorrow, but you can see the way in which the sell-off last hour of the day is probably feeding into some dip buying just below all-time highs. Now, I do want to remind everybody that the last time we were up in this area, and you can see a Darvis level has formed. There's my Darvis signal. We're seeing that again. So this is resistance. It doesn't mean that we're going to see this level of pullback, but what it does mean is this level of resistance is holding, and we should be prepared for a slight pullback. And again, if we're thinking about Darvis resistance, pitbull low, into possibly a dip opportunity before the markets, again, find some support and then make another run at that resistance, and possibly then on that second run, making it through to all-time highs. This is actually setting up very nicely, bullishly. And then if we take it on over to the Dow, very similar conversation. Now, this is where the NASDAQ gets a little tricky. The NASDAQ is in chop. Unlike the S&P and the Dow, the NASDAQ is in chop. Now, remember the chop here in the NAS? Now, how do we know it's chop? Take a look at the yellow JT multi-signal here. Take a look at the mix of the red and the blue and the green grab candles here. We know this is chop, and we know that we have a potential Darvis signal that did hold today. So if this market starts moving lower, that's going to put more pressure on the S&P. So keep that in mind as we move forward to the remainder of this week and this pitbull low phenomena. All right, so then that brings us over to the place that I am very interested in, and that is the Dow. So the Dow does have those similar resistance levels overhead. We know it's not going to be easy to get to the new highs. However, the dips, if you want to call them a pitbull low dip, if we can get that opportunity, that's going to be where we want to build our long position. So double green dip, that is the formula. And that's exactly what I'm looking at as we get through this week. I'm very bullish going forward. Just remember that that overhead resistance in the S&P is probably going to need a little bit of a retracement, a little bit of a small pullback before it can sort of run back and then make another attempt at this resistance here. Okay? So keep that in mind. Let it pull back almost like a slingshot. That's what we're looking for here. I'll see you in the next update.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me